In the darkest days of World War II, when the German war machine seemed unstoppable, a single mission was launched that would defy all logic and send shockwaves through the very heart of the Third Reich. This wasn't a grand invasion or a massive bombing raid. It was a secret, a whisper in the wind, a ghost story that became terrifyingly real for the German army. What if I told you that one of the most audacious operations of the war wasn't fought on the beaches of Normandy or in the skies over Britain, but in the shadows, with a plan so bizarre, so utterly unbelievable, that it was destined to fail? And yet, it didn't. This is the story of a mission that hinged on a single dead body. The year is 1943. The Allies are planning their next major move in Europe. The obvious target is Sicily, the soft underbelly of Italy. Everyone knows it, from the generals in London to the strategists in Berlin. And that's the problem. The German High Command, the OKW, is brilliant. They anticipate the Allied moves with chilling accuracy. A direct assault on Sicily would be a bloodbath, a meat grinder of men and machines against heavily fortified positions. The Allies needed an edge, a way to trick Hitler himself into looking the other way. They needed a miracle. And that miracle came from the mind of a young intelligence officer, a man who read spy novels in his spare time. His idea was so outrageous, it was initially laughed out of the room. The proposal? To use a corpse to carry false information directly to the enemy. This was the birth of Operation Mincemeat. The plan was as simple as it was ghoulish. First, they needed a body. Not just any body. It had to be a man who looked like he could have been a British officer, someone who had died in a way that would be consistent with a plane crash, at sea drowning, or hypothermia. After a grim search, they found their man, a homeless individual named Glenwer Michael, who had tragically died after ingesting poison. He was given a new identity, a new life in death. He became Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. A completely fabricated persona, complete with a backstory, a fiancée named Pam, theater ticket stubs in his pocket, and even a stern letter from his bank manager. Every detail was meticulously crafted to make Major Martin feel real. But the centerpiece of the deception was the briefcase. Chained to Major Martin's wrist was a black attach case containing the crown jewels of the operation. Fake, top-secret documents. These weren't just simple forgeries. They were masterpieces of deceit, written and signed by real, high-ranking Allied generals. The letters hinted at a massive Allied invasion, but not in Sicily. Instead, they pointed to two different locations, Greece and Sardinia. Sicily was mentioned only as a feint, a diversionary tactic to draw German forces away from the real invasion sites. The logic was brilliant. If the Germans found this briefcase, they would believe they had stumbled upon the Allies' most secret plans, a stroke of incredible luck. The bait was set. Now came the most critical part, delivering their silent messenger. On April 30th, 1943, the British submarine HMS Seraph surfaced off the coast of Huelva, a small port in neutral Spain. Under the cover of darkness, the submarine's crew gently lowered the body of Major Martin into the water, ensuring the currents would carry him toward the Spanish shore. Spain was chosen carefully. While officially neutral, it was crawling with German spies, all eager for any scrap of intelligence. The crew said a quiet prayer and watched as their macabre package drifted away into the gloom. The fate of thousands of soldiers now rested on a dead man in the currents of the Atlantic. A few hours later, a Spanish fisherman discovered the body. As the Allies had hoped, the Spanish authorities were notified, and true to form, so were the local German agents. The Abwehr, Germany's military intelligence was immediately on the case. They were ecstatic. A British officer, a briefcase full of secret plans washed ashore? It was too good to be true. The Spanish, playing a delicate game of neutrality, allowed the Germans to examine the contents of the briefcase before returning them to the British. German intelligence experts photographed every single document. The letters, the maps, the personal effects, everything was analyzed. The forgeries were so convincing, the details so perfect, that the German agents swallowed the story whole. The information was immediately relayed up the chain of command, all the way to Berlin. When the documents landed on Adolf Hitler's desk, he was completely convinced. The British were clumsy, arrogant fools. He had intercepted their master plan. He immediately ordered a massive redeployment of forces. Panzer divisions were moved from France to Greece. Torpedo boats, patrol craft, and minesweepers were diverted to the Aegean Sea. The defenses of Sardinia were massively reinforced. General Rommel, the Desert Fox, was even sent to Athens to oversee the new defensive preparations. Meanwhile, Sicily, the actual target, was left comparatively vulnerable. The Germans had taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. On July 9, 1943, the Allies launched Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily. Over 150,000 Allied troops stormed the beaches. They were expecting a brutal fight, a wall of German resistance. Instead, they found a surprisingly light defense. The German and Italian forces were caught completely off guard. The heavy reinforcements Hitler had sent to Greece and Sardinia were hundreds of miles away, uselessly waiting for an invasion that would never come. The deception had worked better than anyone could have ever imagined. Sicily fell in just 38 days, a victory achieved with far fewer casualties than anticipated. This success opened the door for the invasion of Italy, hastened the fall of Mussolini, and fundamentally changed the course of the war in the Mediterranean. The German High Command was in shock. How could they have been so wrong? When the truth finally dawned on them, the sense of humiliation was immense. They had been outsmarted, not by a superior force, but by a ghost, a dead man sent on one last, silent mission. Operation Mincemeat remains one of the most successful and imaginative deceptions in military history. It proved that in war, the most powerful weapon isn't always a gun or a bomb, but sometimes it's a story. A well-told lie that the enemy desperately wants to believe. The story of Major William Martin, the man who never was, saved thousands of lives and showed that even in the grim reality of war, a little bit of fiction could change the world. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this incredible story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden histories from the front lines.